The Democratic National Convention gets underway tomorrow. Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, are expected to make an appearance while the candidates on the Republican ticket will be campaigning across the country, including right here in North Carolina. We are joined now live by Dr. Michael Bitzer, professor and chair of politics at Catawba College. Good morning, Dr. Bitzer.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you too, sir. Well, sir, first let's go ahead and talk about all eyes will be on Chicago this week as it starts off with President Joe Biden giving a speech tomorrow. In your opinion, how does that set the tone for the Democratic Party?
I think it certainly will be the handing over the torch to a new generation. I think when President Biden made the decision on July 21 to exit the race and to basically hand things over to Vice President Harris, I think he really kind of looked at this as indeed a generational passing to the Harris campaign and to really the Harris generation. So I think he will set the tone of this is a new Democratic Party being led by Kamala Harris. And I think that opportunity to really set the tone for the rest of the convention will be critical for the Democrats to continue the enthusiasm that they've been experiencing.
Well, Dr. Bitzer, when we look at this, ever since the decision by President Biden not to run again, it looks like North Carolina got thrust back into the crosshairs of both parties. Now, does this signal a possible change that Republicans are worried that they may not win the state like they did in 2016 and 2020?
I think if you look before July 21st, certainly Donald Trump had a healthy lead here in North Carolina. That is pretty much, according to the recent polls, evaporated. It is now pretty much a coin toss within the margin of error of most of the polls. And certainly for Republicans, if they have any shot at getting at 270 electoral votes and winning the White House, they need North Carolina in their win column. Remember, last time it was only 75,000 votes that differentiated Trump winning North Carolina from Joe Biden. And I think Democrats have put in the resources and the infrastructure in the state. So you're seeing President Trump come back this week to North Carolina to kind of try and solidify his hold on the state that is so critical for his chances to win.
Well, in your opinion, where does that hold take place? I know he's going to be in Asheboro on Wednesday, but it seems like Vice President Harris has been focusing on some of the larger city areas. Will that be a battle between the metropolitans and those outside of that metropolitan region?
Yeah, that is the dynamic of North Carolina's political regions. Democrats dominate in the central cities, typically 70-30, but in the more suburban surrounding counties and rural counties, Republicans tend to dominate. So I think certainly former President Trump coming to Asheboro really focused on rural North Carolina to try and solidify that base. The concern is most of the votes come out of urban counties like Mecklenburg. So we'll have to see if the strategy continues for both parties or if one shifts the dynamic a little bit over the next several weeks going into the general campaign.
And just a couple of minutes here, just one last question as we go back to Chicago. There's going to be a lot of big political leaders taking the stage and speaking, but they said they didn't want to turn this into a Hollywood event. So do they lower the money coming from actors and everything and just focus on those who have been leading the party?
I think certainly you will hear from former President Bill Clinton, from Barack Obama, and others. But I think certainly the main thrust is to really make the connection to the middle class. And I think that will probably be the tenor and the tone of a lot of the speeches from Democrats at the podium and in Chicago to really make that continued connection to the middle class that I think Vice President Harris made in her Raleigh appearance this past week.
Sounds great. Dr. Michael Bitzer at Catawba College. Dr. Bitzer, thank you for talking to us. I'm sure we'll be catching up again with you later on this week.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks so much.